Alex, I spent 3 hours yesterday digging a splinter out of my palm with a pair of tweezers that had no business being in a first aid kit. It was about the size of a surfboard, or at least it felt like it. And the whole time, I was thinking, this is the universe telling me I didn't spend enough time on my edges.
Every time you have a minor medical emergency, you turn it into a philosophical lesson about shop safety. Was it a beautiful mahogany surfboard at least?
It was pressure treated pine, which is the insult to the injury. But it's a perfect lead in for today. We're talking about precision, the kind of money people are actually making in the trades right now, and how to stop being a best kept secret in your garage and actually sell something.
August 24th, 2026. We've got a lot to get through. Let's start with the heavy metal. You were reading up on that Trump tool?
The True Tool TKA 1500. Look, for years, if you wanted a clean edge on sheet metal, you were basically wrestling a giant angle grinder and hoping your pulse stayed steady. It's loud, it's messy, and you usually end up with an edge that looks like a topographical map of the Rockies.
And I'm guessing this new machine doesn't involve you vibrating your teeth loose?
Exactly, it's a milling tool. Instead of just hogging off material with an abrasive, it's actually cutting. You get these repeatable, crisp bevels. If you're prepping for a high-end weld, you want that surface to be surgical. It's the difference between a joint that holds the weight of the world and one that just decides to quit on you at the worst moment.
It sounds like it's aimed at the pros, but what about the smaller shops? I noticed buysteel.com is finally gaining some steam.
That's the Amazonification of the shop floor. I remember the days where if you needed 3 lengths of C-channel, you had to call a guy named Murph, wait for him to finish his sandwich, get a quote fax to you, yes, a fax, and then hope it showed up before the solstice.
I think I still have a fax machine in my attic. It's a boat anchor now.
Well, Buysteel is killing that friction. You want a price, you click a button, you want it delivered, click another one. For a small shop or a maintenance crew, that's hours of life reclaimed. It's about time the raw materials market caught up to the 21st century.
Speaking of catching up, let's talk about the bank accounts of the people actually using these tools. The 2026 trade data just dropped, and it is, honestly, a bit staggering.
12.9%. That's the average pay bump for skilled plumbers and sparkies this year. To put that in perspective for the folks at home, that's basically double what the office crowd is seeing when they hop jobs.
So all those people who told us to go to law school back in the day, maybe they should have handed us a pipe wrench instead.
Don't tell the lawyers, they're already grumpy enough. But seriously, the leverage has shifted. Companies are terrified of losing the person who actually knows how to keep the lights on or the water flowing. They aren't just throwing money at new hires, they're padding benefits and base pay for the veterans just to keep them from walking across the street.
And it's not just about the paycheck. I saw Tom Milligan joined the board for Bring Back the Trades. He's pushing that electrical training academy.
Tom's a visionary. He realizes that if we don't treat apprenticeships like a prestigious degree, the well is going to run dry. It's about pride in the craft. When you see a perfectly bent run of conduit, that's art. It just happens to be art that prevents your house from burning down.
I prefer my art functional and non-combustible, thank you. Let's pivot to the maker mogul side of things. We're seeing a lot of people moving away from the I'll just post it on Etsy and pray method. There's a new playbook for 2026.
It's the sold out strategy. Look, if you make 10 of something and tell the world there are only 10, and you show them every single bead of sweat that went into making them, people lose their minds.
It's the scarcity factor. But is it really that simple? Just show the sparks and people buy?
It's the storytelling, Alex. Nobody buys a hand-turned bowl because they need a place to put their keys. They buy it because they saw you struggle with a knot in the wood for 3 hours on a Tuesday. They're buying a piece of your stubbornness.
Buying a piece of your stubbornness. I like that. You should put that on a t-shirt.
I'll add it to the list. But the data shows that handmade goods and custom clothing are still sitting at the top of the pile for online businesses. People are exhausted by mass-produced plastic that breaks if you look at it sideways. They want something with a soul. If you can use Shopify to drop a limited run and then show the behind the scenes on a short video, that's how you build a real brand.
So stop being shy and start filming the failures too?
Especially the failures. People love watching a project go sideways as much as they love the finished product. It makes you human. It shows that the mastery part of the job is just being willing to fix your own blunders.
Speaking of blunders, let's talk DIY. The luxury backyard trend is huge right now. Everyone wants the 5-star resort feel without the $50,000 contractor bill. Is that actually doable for a weekend warrior?
It's doable, but you have to respect the sequence of operations. You can't put the fancy pavers down and then realize you forgot to run the gas line for the fire pit. That's a mistake that'll make you want to sit in a dark room and cry.
I'm guessing you've been there?
Let's just say there's a certain patch of my walkway that looks slightly different than the rest because I had a light bulb moment 3 weeks too late. But really, the takeaway for 2026 is that DIYers are getting braver. They're doing their own hardscaping, their own low voltage lighting. They're saving tens of thousands by being their own project managers.
Just maybe check for utility lines before you start the excavator.
Please. Nothing ruins a Saturday like the local gas company showing up with sirens blaring because you decided to dig a luxury hole in the wrong spot. Always call before you dig. It's the only free thing left in this world.
Good advice. And for the musicians in the shop, I saw that Rick Dior has been doing some interesting work with B-stock drum gear.
Rick's a pro. He shows that even if a product isn't perfect, maybe a drumstick has a weird grain pattern or a floor tom has a tiny finish flaw, there's still massive value there. It's a lesson in quality control. You don't hide the flaws, you price them accordingly, and keep the trust of your customers.
We've covered a lot today. Precision milling, the 13% pay jump in the trades, the power of scarcity in marketing, and not blowing up your backyard. What's the one thing people should take into their Monday?
I was looking at this old plane blade this morning. It was dull, nicked, and basically useless. But 20 minutes at the stones, and it's back to cutting curls you can see through.
And the metaphor is?
The metaphor is that the tools change and the market fluctuates, but the value of your own two hands only goes up. Whether you're learning a new milling machine or finally starting that side hustle, just keep your edges sharp. The world is getting noisier, but there's always a seat at the table for someone who does good work and isn't afraid to show the process.
Well said. I'm going to go make sure I don't have any surfboards in my palms before we head out.
Good plan. We'll see you all tomorrow in the den. Keep building.